Why are you aiming for perfect? Why not aim for consistent? And perfect is one of the options in your variability. This is what setting perfect is like. When you go wrong, you just ended up being bad because you gave them a tight set in an attempt to be good. How about the next skill? How about passing perfect? We have the exact same problem in passing perfect as we had in setting perfect. So here's your net, here's one side of the court, here's the other. Here's the setter setting up at what most coaches call 2/3 right. In other words, we don't set up setters in the middle of the court, we set them up a little bit to the right. It's at about 2/3 right. So I hope that makes sense. So here's you passing a ball, and you want to put the ball right on the setter's head. Well, if you aim for perfect, if in an attempt to be good, aiming for perfect, you've got a variability of, say, 3 feet. Well, every foot behind the setter makes the setter increasingly awful. Every foot in front of the setter doesn't matter. Setters can take 3 foot variability, a ball 3 feet in front of them, in one step. 3 feet behind them, they start to lean back and look like dorks. And a lot of setters, the only thing they can do with that is set it backwards. What if you just did that to your setter and they're in the front row and there's nobody behind them to set? Have you seen this happen? I have a lot. Which is why I don't have my teams pass to the setter's forehead like ever. I have my teams pass to about 2 feet in front of the setter. That way, with that variability, if it's a little behind what they aim for, it's a dime. It's right on the setter's forehead. If it's a little in front of the setter, so the setter takes 2 steps forward and sets it. Whoop-de-doo. One of the best things you can do is take 2 steps forward and then set the ball back. It's called setting against the grain. You just shouldn't do it when the ball's too far in front of you. This is great, but I didn't aim for perfect. Well, actually, that is perfect in my opinion, but most people think perfect is the setter's forehead. We didn't aim for the setter's forehead because we're going to have a variability in front of and behind them. We aim for in front of the setter, so that if we get a little right of what we wanted, it's a dime. If we get a little left in front of what we wanted, it's still a fine pass. Perfect or fine. Those are your options when you change what you're aiming for. How about the next skill? Serving perfect. Well, if you've got your court here, and here's your net, and you're supposed to serve this kid, and your coach is determined that if you serve this shoulder right here on that kid, it's always an ace. Okay, and in your attempt to hit that kid in the shoulder as you were instructed, good intentions, good strategy, good idea, bad reality, because you have a variability to your serve. Sometimes you're 5 or 6 feet to the right, sometimes you're 5 or 6 feet to the left, and these balls just went out. You were just bad in an attempt to be good. If you could always put the ball exactly where you want it, it would be fine. We wouldn't have to worry about this. All your attempts to be good would be good. But you're human, and you can't just say, I'm going to do everything perfectly, because you never have been able to pull it off, and you never will, because you're human. It's not because you're bad, it's because you're human. I've screwed stuff up. The best players on earth have screwed stuff up. You are going to screw stuff up, and that is okay. The question is, what will you aim for? If my coach told me to serve somebody's shoulder right here, and I knew that I wasn't a perfect server, I might aim for more like here. Because when I miss over here, I'm a goofball, but I didn't miss the court. And when I miss over here, I hit that area and I look like a genius. But I never missed the court. I was never bad in my attempt to be good. I might have been ho-hum when I served here, but I was never bad in my attempt to be good. Never be bad in an attempt to be good. Last skill to make sure you understand exactly what I'm talking about, and it relates to you in particular, defending perfect. Now, if you would like the world's quickest defensive lesson, listen up. I'm not going to draw any pictures. There goes the pen. Here it is. Somebody huge, intimidating, strong, going to get a scholarship for sure is on the other side of the net. Your whole team's scared of him, but not you. No way. you know it's your job to get in there and dig the ball. So you're fearless, you're awesome, you're athletic, you can handle this. That big person goes up, winds up, and there's a great big hole in the block, and so you jump right in and you're like, come on! Now, I used to do this. I was actually, unfortunately, really well known for doing this. When you say, come on! And I don't mean you have to actually say the words, but your whole body's tense. Your pecs are tense, your biceps are tense, your triceps, your arms, everything, your abs, and you're like, ah! You're defending like this much space, dude. You're not going to get anything other than right there where you're ready. Now, I'll give you, the chances of digging the ball aren't great. And just being brave is pretty cool. It is, in fact, better than being scared. But why don't you calm down, relax, take up a little more area, be ready to move those arms around. But this is what I would do. I'm really familiar with this flaw. In my attempt to be good, I was just being brave and fearless. And I wasn't being good. I was being really narrow in my defense, but boy, people never question. They're like, that kid, man, he's a great kid. He'll do anything to dig a ball. Yeah, but I didn't dig many balls. That's the problem. I was being bad in my attempt to be good because I put everything into fearless courage and not enough into logical skill. Like, what do I need to do to get that really big hitter's hit? Well, if you ever want to know, watch a great digger. They're way more calm than that fearless kid. They just stand there and they watch and they read and they look and they move in the direction of the ball. That's all they do. That's fearless too. It just isn't as obvious and it's way more effective. So, never be bad in an attempt to be good. Hopefully it makes sense after going over a bunch of the skills. This is super duper important because you're great kids. You have great intentions. Everybody does this. And I don't want you to be bad because you're trying too hard. I want you to be good because you've thought about what you're doing, you've looked at the results, you've backed off in the effort and the hard work when you have to, and you just go out and be good because you choose good targets, you choose good actions, you choose good intentions. Not just courage and fearlessness. While admirable, they don't necessarily dig balls, get kills, or get aces. Go out there, pay attention to what you're doing, and make sure that you're being good when you're attempting to be good, not that you've tried so hard you end up being bad in your attempt to be good.